a new game coming out next week, which I was completely unaware of until Devastate told me about it just before we jumped on the podcast. But I had a quick look on Steam. Delta Force, which when I had a look, I was like, that name rings a bell. Like, I swear, like I've played a game called Delta Force, and then was very quickly reminded that the original came out in 1998. I was 14 at the time. Well, we were 14 at the time. So yeah, it's coming out on UE5 as well. It looks very, very good.
What I would just say, just very quickly on that engine, I just want to cover a couple of points. So as far as I'm aware, so by the way, the game comes out Friday, the 5th of December. It's completely free next week, completely free to play.
Great price.
Love it. I then question what their actual monetization method is. Are we going to see? What store packs are we going to have? But there's
battle pass.
Yeah, but there's just two things you're talking about the engine. So as far as I'm aware, it's Unreal 5 for campaign, Unreal 4 for multiplayer.
Odd.
And I'm wondering just whether that is just down to speed of render, or I'm not 100% certain. So we'll do some testing. But yeah,
is that a first? Like, I don't think I've ever heard of a game being two engined, if that's even a term.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting
because surely, presumably, then they basically got to have almost two games. They've got to make a campaign, which is on UE5. Then, okay, go, right, look, that one's finished. Let's park that one. Right, let's focus on the multiplayer. Go back an engine to 4.
Don't know.
But it looks really good. Like, I was watching the trailer on. Obviously, it's available on Steam, completely free. Next week, so I've add it to my wish list. I think we'll download that, have a little bash of it. But it just reminds me of old school Battlefield. Very, very similar to old school Battlefield. Obviously, you can fly the Apache gunships, you can drive the tanks, you can shoot the tanks, you can operate the miniguns, you can have first person as well. Looks very, very similar to Battlefield, but I think maybe just updated. But do you want to touch on who the rights were acquired by?
Yeah, so really interesting. So, this game the original Delta Force came out in 1998, and by a company called Nova Logic. They were the developers. It came out on Windows, and then there's been loads. So there was like Delta Force Urban Warfare that then came out on the PlayStation. They did a Delta Force Black Hawk Down, which was on the PlayStation 2. Now, they've done various ones. Now, interesting enough, just as a quick side note, there is the single-player campaign on the new game is based around the Black Hawk Down film or the Black Hawk Down original storyline. So I think that's going to be it's going to be one of those campaigns that actually might be quite fun to play. But yeah, there's been about 10 Delta Force games over the years. Now, they stopped producing them in 2009. Then they effectively sort of started. They then effectively thought we're going to do it again, but then Nova Logic, the original publishers and developers, have been bought out by Tencent. Now, Tencent. So Tencent, one of the biggest companies in the world, of course. I think, and they own TikTok. They also own Alibaba in China.
Possibly. I mean, they're enormous. They're apps. They're multi-billion-dollar company.
They are BYD. They do the cars. Insane. Literally one of the biggest companies in the world. So they've done that under a development studio called TIMI or TIMI Studios. who are
Or Timu.
new. No, not almost Timu. But interestingly enough, this Time Age Studios have been based around building mobile games. So Call of Duty Mobile is probably their biggest game that they've done. So really interesting. I've also just quickly read that it's going to be optional microtransactions, and developers have opted against pay to win, with separate games currency for cosmetics.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Aside from Havoc Warfare, a mode where teams are allocated tickets to win a game. So we're waiting to see.
That sounds feasible. I mean, like if people want to pay for skins, all good. I'm fine with that. I like the fact that it's not pay to win, because we've seen a lot of games which are very much pay to win. I much prefer to see it everyone's on a level playing field, because I think then it makes it a lot better for everyone playing the game. So whether you're brand new to the game or you've been playing it for a couple of years, you're all on the same playing field. It's all down to your skill at the end of the day, which is, I think, is a massive thing. I think we've covered that like that on the podcast many times, haven't we?
So that's coming out, and I will be giving that a go, because I think it does look good fun. And it is a single player MMO, online PvP, online co-op, and I think it's also cross-play. So we'll thoroughly give that a go, and in a later podcast episode, we will report back on a mini review.